Welcome to Red Letters. This is a series that's going to be on the words that Jesus spoke, the red letters in the Bible. So I hope with this new lesson, you will learn a whole lot more of what Jesus expects and how to handle a lot of situations as Christians. We're going to start out in Matthew, and I want to read to you what the study Bible says about the Sermon on the Mount first. It says, in his longest recorded sermon, Jesus began by describing the traits that he was looking for in his followers. He said that God blesses those who live out these traits, almost a direct contradiction of society's typical way of life. Jesus even points out that a serious effort to develop these traits is bound to create opposition. The best example of each trait is found in Jesus himself. If our goal is to become like him, we'll challenge the way that we live every day. Matthew chapter 5 verse 3 says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." I obviously want to talk about that a little bit, but we're going to do the study Bible first. The study Bible says Jesus began his sermon with words that seem to contradict each other. But God's way of living usually contradicts the world's. If you want to live for God, you must be ready to say and do what seems strange to the world. You must be willing to give when others take, to love when others hate, to help when others abuse. By giving up your own rights in order to serve others, you will one day receive everything that God has in store for you. The Beatitudes can be understood in at least 4 ways. 1, they are codes of ethics for the disciples, a standard of conduct for all believers. 2, they contrast the kingdom's values, what is eternal, with worldly values, what is temporary. They contrast the superficial faith of the Pharisees with the real faith that Christ wants. They show how the Old Testament expectations will be fulfilled in the new kingdom. These Beatitudes are not multiple choice, pick what you like and leave the rest. They must be taken as a whole. They describe what we should be like as Christ followers. Blessed means more than happiness. It implies the fortune or inevitable state of those who are in God's kingdom. Don't promise laughter, pleasure, or earthly prosperity. To Jesus, blessed means the experience of hope and joy, independent of outward circumstances. To find hope and joy, the deepest form of happiness, is to follow Jesus, no matter what the cost. Today's day 1 of this new series, Red Letters, and every week I'm going to go over a new thing that Jesus said, the direct commandment that he gave us to follow by as Christian followers. And as you just read, or as we just read together, it goes against the world's standards. Everything that you see in the world that people are doing, we are not called to do. If you are a true follower of Christ, or if you're somebody that wants to do better and you really want to follow Jesus, this is the start. This tells you what Christ expects of us, and it's instructions, and they're really broke down too. The way he describes each one is very simple and very direct. But along with it, every week, we're going to go over a lesson with it as well, so that you can help implement it in your own life, because that's where people get hung up. It's easy to read what God says, but it's hard to do it. So I truly hope that this series will help you walk more Christ-like. As I said, it goes against the world's views. We are not called to be worldly. You are called to be set apart. If you are of Christ, you are set apart. You can tell a lot about a person in their actions and how they walk. Do they seem like they're Christ-like? I know that we all have things to work on, and we can all improve in areas. But you should be able to look at a Christian and tell they're a Christian. This Sermon on the Mount that we're going to go over, Jesus is telling us. He's not just talking to the multitude that was in front of him that day. He's telling us directly what he desires from us and how to live for him. So if you are here, I thank you for being a part of this series, and I hope that you're excited to learn each week. If you know me from my other socials, that's where I primarily am. But everyone wanted longer lessons, so I'm going to try it here for a while. I'm going to try to bring you some longer lessons here. I get to talk more, we get to go over things more in depth, and I hope that it helps with your understanding. My job as a Christ follower and a disciple is to teach the red letters, to teach you how to be more Christ-like. If you want to follow along with these daily, we'll be doing these on my other socials, which is TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And they will be daily over there, but they will be contained as the time frame is limited on each platform. This one here will be once a week because they do take a lot longer to record, plan out the lesson, and edit it. But I really hope that you enjoy it here. I hope that there's a lot of people that have wanted these longer lessons and that are excited to talk more and to learn more in depth. It's new for me because I haven't posted here hardly ever, so I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you being here and wanting to learn more and having that hunger, because that is how we change. That is how we start becoming more Christ-like, is we start getting the desire to follow him closely, to read his words, and to follow his commands to the best of our abilities. May God bless you, and I will see you next week